Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. This is Three Good Generals and all the three good generals are here. Let's welcome them. General Ravi Shankar, General Dushyant Singh and General Rajiv Narayanan. Namaskaram, sir.
Namaskaram.
So as always, there is rain in the air and the wicket is doing a little bit. So let's invite Sunil Gavaskar of the team to open. He has also got a PowerPoint presentation today. Over to you, sir.
Thanks a lot. This Mr. Putin's visit, I think he must have landed by now, about to land.
Yeah, we have a video also for that. Yeah.
He is very important from many points of view.
He's reached the house. He's reached the house.
Yeah. Okay, first class. Chalo. So it's very interesting to know that Mr. Modi has gone and received him personally. It signifies a lot. It gives a lot of importance to this relationship. But having said this event comes on the back of two important things. The first is that Asia Power Index by Lowy Institute of Australia, which has put India, very surprisingly, I didn't expect it, to be a major power, right? Just third after USA and China, and Russia also being below that. Okay. I mean, why it's surprising is the fact that someone has started acknowledging India's power and its capability. That's the point. We never had doubt about India's status as a power. The second thing is, for the second consecutive quarter, we have logged 8.2% GDP growth. And this time is more important because we have logged it against the fact that we were under sanctions, or exports were not that much, and many other things which I'll not get into. If things had been as in the previous quarter, probably you would have got into double-digit growth. Because there are people who talk saying, "Oh, this is fake, all that," but that's nonsense. I don't think so. This has been accepted by many people globally. So we leave it at that. So this happens at a time when everyone has started realizing, look, India is a power. And suddenly here comes the Russian president and thing. And then, can I have the slides, please? Yeah. I've always maintained this is a view of, a Chinese cartoonist who said, look, these four people will grab the earth, or the four major powers will be India, China, Russia, and USA. It has not changed, right? But have a look at it a little differently. What has changed is this. I think Mr. Putin has become the Pied Piper of the 21st century. If you notice, for the past 2 years, 3 years, everyone is dancing to his tunes. He's been able to stitch a partnership with no forbidden areas partnership with China. He's had a great equation with Trump, one way or the other. He's playing Trump. He's playing Europe, everything. Now he's with India. And India has a lot of hopes on him. Right? On that, we should have no doubts. So you got a player in town who means well by India. On that, there's no doubt about it. Okay? But he's doing a lot of tricks. You go to the Chinese and the US articles about this visit, they're all looking at it with great eagerness as to what's going to happen. But if you look at it from another different, a formal point of view, I've always shown this quadrilateral, the quadrilateral of power, and I started showing this quadrilateral about 2 years back, right? Where India and USA have attraction between the two, and Russia and China have attraction along the diagonals, and the rest have attraction or repulsion the way it is. And this has not changed. Of course, the India-US relationship is no more the strategic partnership which was once thought of, but that relationship is still strong. It can't go away, like we've been discussing. It's become too deep. Similarly, the Russia and India relationship is very deep. It can't go away. It has only strengthened. And with USA virtually not giving us any technology, putting us on sanctions and everything, and we can't turn towards China. We have to turn towards Russia. So this equation is going to become stronger by the day. As far as India is concerned, we are looking at technology. We need technology, and Russia has the technology. Russia doesn't have the money. So I think this is a time for us to buy that technology out. We missed an opportunity in 91. I think it's presenting itself again. We need it. We need energy. And if Russia continues to give us cheap energy, great. And the fact is that this Ukraine war is not going to end. These sanctions are not going to end. Europe and USA cannot accept Russia the way it is today, even today. And what they want against Russia, they'll never achieve. So this energy will, cheap energy will keep flowing to us. In terms of military, there are a lot of talk which is going on. People are talking of Su-57, people are talking of S-400, people are talking of other things. It's not just the technology of the military issues or the missiles or many things, but I'm more looking at space cooperation, nuclear cooperation, and these are the issues where you need technology, especially in nuclear. You need small modular reactors. You need floating reactors, right? Because our energy needs, as you keep going up the value chain, will increase. And let's be very clear: China, of course, is out of question to give you any technology. US will not give you technology. It's not given. For that matter, even Russia has not given us technology so far. Okay, but for the first time, in fact, for the second time, we are able. There's some talk of getting some technology from Russia, and it's huge for us. Okay, and then of course space, which I've already said. Now this will give a great offset against China and USA. USA bullying can be kept at a distance, so can China. For China, it's a great, hedge. Because China is in a quandary. Whom is Putin or Russia siding with or helping? Is it with China or India? If you see, Putin is playing India against China while not playing China against India. And he's playing China against USA. That's why I got that Pied Piper thing. He's playing one against the other. But one thing is sure, he's not playing India against anyone else. I mean, he's playing India against China, but he's not playing USA against India or China against India. To that extent, he stood up to the age-old traditional friendship between India and Russia. Okay. The flip side, I mean, the way I look at it, any deal with Russia, we have everything to gain because there are not many great strings attached to this. But the flip side of the story is, what about sanctions? How do you deal with sanctions with USA or relationship with USA, which is equally important? You might not have a good relationship, you not have a strategic relationship, but you need a good relationship because you're already committed in terms of their weapons with us. You're already committed on many things. At the end of the day, with the emerging geopolitical situation around Japan, the Indo-Pacific, it's a matter of time that will come back. There's no choice. That's the way things happen, Trump or no Trump. And one has to look beyond Trump. If you look beyond Trump, you will suddenly realize that there are limits to our relationship with Russia. There's a cap in terms of import or export. After all, the Russian economy is still not great. It's just about $2 trillion. And as and when the Ukraine war winds down into some problem, some kind of a festering wound, the Russian economy will suffer. It's only a matter of its what it has in terms of its military capability, its nuclear capability, and its technology, which will come to use. But even that, there's a cap. And then, of course, we have to see a great relationship with Russia. What impact does it have on EU relations? I'm not too bothered about the rest of the relations. We'll be able to handle, because EU is our alternate to USA, and we've spoken about it earlier. So, to that extent, we have to weigh all these out. But the way I look at it today, this is our best relationship. Look at it from another point of view. Amongst big powers, whom do we have the best relationship? Right? You find it is Russia. With Russia, you also have a political relationship. And also the fact that Russia supports, you need Russia support in UN. And tomorrow, if we still want to be a member of the UN Security Council as a permanent member, you do need Russia support. In fact, China is wary about it. And this visit between Russia and India has already created a wariness in China. China is worried. In fact, tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, I'm going to put out a video on the Chinese view of this visit. I mean, the number of articles which are there in China, over 15, 20 articles have come out with varied views. So I think this is a very important visit. There are many angles to it. I've just given the outline. We can pick up the threads, and as we go along, back to you, Sri Ayerji.
Thank you so much, sir. General Rajiv, I'd like you to weigh in now, and then we will follow it up with General Dushyant, who also has a slide deck. Over to you, General Rajiv.
So, I would start by giving a small background under which this visit is being taken, and people can understand why there is so much of a tizzy in the US and Western world, especially EU. Firstly, if you look at the US and more so the EU, the COVID response, the Ukraine war, and by the US, the weaponizing of the US dollar and SWIFT has done two things. The European economy is on decline, and countries have lost trust in the US dollar. These two major events have taken place, and everyone is looking around for various alternatives. What can be done? Now, despite the sanctions, Russian economy thrives because the EU industry depends on Russian energy, and EU and US industries, high-tech industries, and energy, especially nuclear, depend on the minerals from Russia. Without that, they can't survive. The EU economy is tanking because, yes, we are taking the crude from Russia and giving them the refined oil, but the rates are higher than what they would have got through the pipeline. So now they realize that all this, suddenly the only economy that is rising is India. And this is despite them. You're very aggressive on your strategic autonomy. And so that is what is feared by the US and the West, and liked by the Russians. You're not letting go of Russia. So the desperate, before he has come in, the desperation levels have been very high. There have been attempts at regime change. They have been trying desperately for regime change to get a pliable government which will listen to them, and they're looking at internal turmoil. They have been at it since 24, but they have failed. And only thing they are realizing, maybe they have realized now, that every time they have failed, this government has come out powerful, more strong. The footprint of this government has grown stronger. And as it is growing, the desperation levels are again getting high. Both of them know that they face a Kindleberger trap. It's an economic trap they can't get out of without India. So that is the reason why they want a pliable India, so that they can wean it away from USA and capture your market. Now, there is today, as every country is looking for alternatives, not just to the US and the West hegemony, it is also to the US dollar that alternatives are being looked at. The petrodollar agreement has lapsed, not been renewed last year. And there is, you find a geo-economic, and I would put geo-monetary, geopolitical, geostrategic realignment coming towards multipolarity, polarity. Why do I say geo-monetary? None of our media is talking about it. While the EU is in talks with you and it is going on, the pilot project is going on for linking our UPI to the TIPS via the project nexus of BIS, which is the Bank of International Settlements. Nobody has talked about the linkage that is going on between UPI and the Russian fast payment system from the central bank, which they call the Centralny Bank Russia, SBP. So they have a similar app. Again, that connectivity is going from there. What does it mean? The US banks are going to take a very big hit. All your whatever deals you do will be direct online transfer. As it is today, even as we are talking, India's RuPay card works in Russia and Russia's Mir card works in India. So that is bye-bye Visa and Smart Card. And after that will be bye-bye SWIFT. And it is going through the project Nexus, which the BIS has established. This, nobody in the media has picked it up till now. It's a major, because why were a bank scared? You do all your transaction through SWIFT, the US will clamp down on your bank. I'm doing bank to bank. What is he going to clamp down on me for? With what? You deny me SWIFT, I am not even on SWIFT with the bank. So the fear which the bankers had that I will be denied this trading route using the SWIFT is fast breaking out. Now this is where he comes in, and of course they're in a tizzy. ICC has issued a warrant. We are not even signatories to the ICC. How do we care? And just imagine, war started on 22nd February and by 17th March, they had issued his 23. They have issued his warrant of arrest. So earlier, this is my understanding, the Indo-Russian relationship stood on three pillars basically: defense technology, energy, and diplomacy. Today, it has three more pillars added on to it. Economy, there is a lot of talk going on what our people are going to, what all they are going to utilize the rupees in the Vostro account to buy from India, what companies are likely they will give permission to set it up there. Monetary, I've already spoken to you. UPI, FPS, most important. Human resource. They've requested for 1 lakh people. Because of their demography, they feel that they have more faith in the Indians coming there and working. So, but this is where the biggest problem you're getting in the West, and no wonder those three woke ambassadors of France, Germany, and UK put out the op-ed. The question needs to be asked, why did the TOI accept the op-ed and not run it through the MEA? Why did they run it? Yeah.
General Rajiv, the owners of TOI have said they are in the business of advertising. That news comes along is a happy coincidence.
That apart, if there is anything anti-India like this being published or against the interest of the country, the government can easily give them a notice. On what basis an ambassador has been cleared. So that apart, I call it a toilet paper these days. That's what it has come down to. So in my view, there are 5 blocks that are emerging today. India with quite a lot of countries from the global south, then you have Russia and its allies, you have China and its allies, you have EU and its allies. I don't say Europe because Russia would still have a lot of allies in Europe, and China and its allies. Now, why are they so scared of the Indian and Russian bloc coming together? If you combine this and work it out with the GDP as per purchasing power parity, these two blocks, if they come together, you go above 50% of the GDP based on purchasing power parity. And that scares them. Why does it scare them? Because bulk of the mineral resources, energy, comes from this block. Comes from this block. Try taking a panga with this block thereafter. They'll go down the drain. That is what fears them, and that is why they are going to be vehemently, who's the catalyst? India. So they are going to be getting after you even now with vehemently anti-India narratives and all will come around. Now, IMF in the headline says you have brought it down to C. When you read the article inside, they say, no, you are still at the baseline of 2010, 2011. That is why we are doing it. Handsome, as of February, our own finance minister during the budget had said that from the next financial year, we are changing it to 25, 24, 22, 23. You didn't take that into account? Why at this point, when just before Putin is going to come? You would have taken it out earlier also. Why just before you get to know that in the calculation, Indian budget is going to be for this quarter going to be at 8.2%? This, the worry, and after all, Bretton Woods is based in USA, and USA will be really up in a tizzy because while these people are going to be having plus 50, and just imagine if China Xi Jinping goes, the next one comes and they change tack and they join up with you, with his allies, you'll be striking at over 60%. And that will be the end of the day of their hegemony, that they won't know where to go. They'll have to listen to you because the minerals won't come from you. No. And they have an acute shortage of liquidity themselves. I was listening to one of the, not Jeffrey Sachs, one more person, Mearsheimer. He was saying Besant desperately needs $3 million US.
3 trillion, sir? 3 billion?
3 trillion.
Ah.
With a T. $3 trillion US, and he has nothing. He's getting desperate. The bonds that you also in your show had mentioned, where the 4 big banks of US are obliged to buy it, they are crying to him. They're building up NPAs. They're also going out of liquidity. And liquidity will be available here in these blocks. So that is where I say we have to be prepared for a barrage of anti-India narratives. Because this change is happening. It's not a question of if, it is a question of when. These blocks have already formed. From your Voice of Global South, it was very clear that these blocks are getting formed. And they're there. US has its allies, EU has its allies, Russia has its allies, China has its allies. You have your allies, bulk of them from the Global South. That's where it stands. So, as you become stronger, and as this linkage between India and the Russian bloc strengthens, there will be more higher levels of desperation. Will they use their stooges to the east or west to do something? Conventionally, how they are going to plan it, that we'll leave it at that for the decision makers to plan it out. But to expect a state-sponsored thing coming from the east, my own understanding, They have never done it till date. Unless the West sends all these people, their people, towards the East and move them from there, these people by themselves, they have no knowledge of how to function. Fidain and all, that concept is zero. They have no concept. So they will try to create internal challenges. And I look at the sudden statement of the Muslim MP and others calling for jihad in this light. Somebody has instigated them that you have to do this. And it will be done. And what they don't realize, that of course 2024 was a low point. Though they formed the government, they didn't get the seats that they are wanting. But now you look at every tempering that is happening. I look at these internal issues as tempering. Each tempering that is happening, it is only strengthening, and it will bring out a stronger India. Now, that US is unable to digest, that despite their sanctions, the tariff is essentially a cover sanctions, you're still rising at 8.2%. And yes, the next quarter, this December, January, it will be interesting to see what was the GDP growth in this third quarter. Because in the month of October, yes, you took a little hit, but the month of November, you've gone back up 10% more than 11.8% more than September levels. So expect more of the same, because that is the only toolkit they have, which they had to control the world. That is the only toolkit they are going to use with you. And yes, what General Shankar has said, this Ukraine war is not finishing in a hurry. It's not finishing in a hurry. Now, the biggest concern, though I don't know whether Russia has that capability to do it so fast, they are very concerned about Odessa. That if the Russians turn south and capture Odessa, then that leaves Ukraine as a rump state, which is a landlocked state. I don't know whether the way special military operations are going, 1 to 2 miles in a day, he is almost how much? Close to 80 miles. That is about 160, 170 kilometers away. How much time it will take? Or will he change his tactics when he goes that side? He still has the river to cross, a huge river to cross before he gets across. How is he going to do it? That is open to logic. But the Western experts are already talking on this issue. And they are getting worried about Ukraine. And I have been talking on your platform also, other platforms also. It's been now more than 2 years, ever since the war started, that if it has to end, it is going to be an armistice. I doubt if it will become any peace, because neither side is going to pull back from the lines that they have drawn. And which is where they will take out, the West is going to take out his khundak on you. They will take out the khundak on you. And I have always been of the opinion, at some point in time, the US and the West have to be shown their place, create alternative market for your aviation fuel, and stop all aviation fuel to EU and the US. When the planes get grounded and they come begging for you for fuel, then they will realize where they are today and what they bring to the table. Because the US aviation fuel is very expensive. We have become the largest supplier of aviation fuel to the US also, apart from supplying aviation fuel to EU and to Ukraine. At some point in time, the tap needs to be closed to teach them a lesson, or slowed down, is what I will say, and I'll end here.
Thank you so much, sir. Should I be planning a camel trip back to India? I'm wondering.
So you take Air India and come. Aviation fuel is available with them.
Thank you so much, sir. General Dushyant, we're looking forward to your PowerPoint presentation, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, Ayarji. I'm coming after a break of a week because of internal commitments and busy schedule which I had for the last, in fact, 1.5 months. Still going on. I'll need another 1.5 weeks to get over the requirements of Chanakya Defense Dialogue, which, just to inform all of you, was a splendid success this time. I had 1,400 delegates. I didn't know where to keep them, how to accommodate them into the Chanakya auditorium, where today the Russian delegation and the defense minister are meeting, or they have just finished their meeting.
They just
So that having said, uh, most of the issues which have been spoken about, they normally cover the points which I had planned to show. So what I will do is, my first slide is kind of a summary of what is the some nichode of the Russia India dynamics. So can I have the PowerPoint
Yeah,
presentation, please? So,
yeah.
okay, okay. So go to the next one. Can I go myself? Yeah. So, will there be an impact on the world order? Yes. Why not? The Eastern Bloc is pushing for multipolarity, and the Western Bloc in general is pushing for, uh, I would say, a bipolar world, or a unipolar world would be ideal for them, but bipolar definitely, and that is why the idea of G2 was mooted. As far as India, China, Russia, and I would here add US also is concerned, this relationship was excellently explained by Jan Shankar. I would like to give it the name of mutual beer hug. Everybody has a claw, behind the back. So when that claw will actually get into the back of the other guy, we don't know. But as of now, there is a stability factor which has now been achieved with the fact that the Lowy ratings, etc., the India's economic heft of being the third largest power. I mean, there's no doubt now we can start calling ourselves as the third economic power, and that's one hell of a lot of weightage. And that is one of the reasons why we are in the position what we are. We can outrightly go break protocol, meet Russian president, who has by incidentally an ICC arrest warrant. So no country was actually inviting him, but it was India which has shown that way, that yes, they can do what they want to do. That's a different matter, that we are not part of the ICC. Doesn't matter, but still, it's a optic which has been created to go to the right people, and right people all of you have spoken about. Then if you look at the entire relationship, I would put it into 3-4 factors. It's about trust, which is existing in abundance. It's about payments, which General Rajiv Narayanan spoke so well about, the Swift and the mutual UPIs, etc. It's about people. The connectivity of the Russian people and the Indian people has generally been, throughout culturally, has been very good. It's about trade. Now, trade is something which I will cover later on in 2 slides, specifically highlighting the challenges. I'm not going to talk about what is already happening. Then it's about conflict. It is here that I somehow floated this idea. I don't know. I mean, this is just to make the matters a little light and little more livelier. Suppose, I mean, it's very far fetched. All of you have spoken against it. Jan Shankar has said that the war is likely to continue for a long time. Suppose during the end of the visit, India and Russia, or Putin and Modi, somehow come up with a move forward on the Russia-Ukraine war peace process. Let me tell you, it will be a game changer as far as the world order is concerned. I know it is very difficult, but if it happens, I'm telling you, it is going to be a great move, and I think we should work on that. It's high time. If a country like Qatar can do mediation, why not India? India now does have that kind of a say in the world. In fact, I've got some clippings of the American media, which is saying that despite the unpredictability of the US, yeah, that'll come later. Yeah, I'll go to that later. It is sorry. Just go to the original slide only. I'll cover that later. So, despite that, America will not be able to do anything to India because of the way we have positioned ourselves. Then Russia as far as Russia is concerned, they want to boost exports. That is, we want to boost exports to Russia because of the trade deficit. They want to counter sanctions by building a non-West relationship, which they are already doing. In fact, India is being clubbed as for security West and for economy East. That kind of a equation is trying to be built by India. Then optics, I've already spoken about. Risk is a Western headwind, which could be including the EU and the US both. But because of our economic heft and the positioning in the foreign policy of strategic autonomy, taking the South along with you, all of this has been spoken by you. So by both the panel members, I feel India will be able to come out of this scot free, and that is why you are seeing such an important, show of optics, or such an important show of things being done as far as Putin's visit to India is concerned. If you go to the next slide, okay, yeah. I thought, let me, you see, we have been talking about three generals and this and that. So I thought of trying the AI. So I asked the AI, what is going to be the outcome of the Putin in Russia-India visit, in view of Putin personally coming for this particular 23rd meeting of India-Russia conference, which takes place every year, and it is the 23rd year in a row. So the AI gave this answer, and I said, how would the three generals take this on? And it says, in the style of discussion, I mean, this is worth reading for all of you. It's a pat on the back of especially IRG and General Shankar and General Rajiv Narayan. In the style of discussions like those in the Three Good Generals series, a YouTube podcast by retired Indian generals analyzing geopolitics, often hosted by P gurus and featuring experts like General Shankar, General Dushant, and General Rajiv Narayan. This visit isn't a panic or a threat. Just watch whatever we have spoken till now, it is coming true, and it was not done with any kind of inputs being given to the AI. It's but an opportunity for India to assert strategic independence. It echoes themes from their episodes on multipolarity, US China relations, and India's options, suggesting India should capitalize on such partnerships to recalibrate its position without alienating the allies. I mean, I think, allies, I think he's analyzed the minds of all four of you so well. I thought probably he's keeping track of it. And in the end, it says, overall, it is a step towards realignment in a fragmented world, but one rooted in continuity rather than revolution. I think I think this kind of sums up our discussion for today. So we need not discuss anything further and start taking on the question answers on a lighter side. But I would like to cover the last two slides, Sachin, if you can get them. Uh, no, keep going, keep going. These are all. Yeah, you can read out the Washington Post. Sorry, U.S. media. Washington Post says Trump's oil crackdown hangs heavy on India. New York Times says Trump administration will be watching closely. CNN says it's a test of India's foreign policy, etc. Analysts say unpredictable Trump, responsible response possible after this visit. It won't find helpful due to India's foreign policy. So what I'm trying to say is that the world is already taken for granted that, yeah, you can't touch India now. It's gone into a different league, and that's the reason why Jal Shankar, we are now being graded as a major power. So I think the realization is coming in the US also that you better not push around India anymore. So now come to the last two slides, because those are very important, and I thought this is a nichode of a discussion which I had in clause. So I would like you all to see this particular, yeah. As far as defense is concerned, relos, people have spoken about it. The second bullet is very important. Should the war starts piping down, I'm not even saying ending, but piping down, overheated production of weapons and ammunition by Russia will become a problem for Russia. And this keys in directly to John Shankar's point that what will they do with these weapons? They are going to be a drag on their economy, so they will be forced to sell them. That would probably be an opportunity for countries like ASEAN and India to get things on their terms. Su-57, there are some serious problems there. in terms of radar cross section, radar. It's a large cross section, so the radar picked it cannot be it cannot hide itself from the radar. So there is a problem about the stealth of that. In a way, as far as S500 is concerned, even Su-57, only I think 40 aircrafts have been built till now. The production rate is slow because of lack of spare parts. S500, there is a problem because again slow production and lack of critical spare parts. Ukrainian engine maker Motor Stitch. This is very unique. I mean, this is I don't know whether you all have heard about it. This particular company is a Ukrainian company, but has a very strong connect with Russia. And the engine which they produce is used for Mi-17s. Unfortunately, a large fleet of our Mi-17s are currently under uh, some kind of a refit because we don't have the engines, because they've outlived their life. So I think this is the right opportunity for us to negotiate this particular deal with Russians. Strong defense partners, but actual TOT is limited. As General Shankar said, even the Russians have not given us TOT. They have given us the right to manufacture. The IP is something which we need to do, and the BrahMos model is the route which we need to follow for, even if we have to go for any future relationship with Russia. BrahMos model has stood the test of time. So any future technology cooperation which Jan Shankar was mentioning, I think should be, sir, on the lines of BrahMos, which I'm sure all of you will agree with. The next slide shows the other issues quickly, and that is the end of my presentation thereafter. Go to the next slide, Sachin. Yeah, trade 68 billion. We want to push it to 100 billion, but out of the 68 billion, 5 billion is the Indian part, and the rest of it is imports from Russia. Now, that's a situation which is not very, very desirable in a relationship between two countries. So, what are the areas which we are looking at? Software. The likely demand of IT in Russia in the next 2 years is going to double. That 10% of this market is going to be software. So, I think India needs to now switch gears and start focusing on Russia for software exports. Semi and skilled human resource. The Russians are only 145 million strong and largest country in the world. How are they governing this? They are in dire need of manpower, human resource. Do you know they pay 24 lakhs to a normal soldier? Dollars I'm talking of. That's the kind of money they are paying to get these people to fight, and that is why you find so many North Koreans volunteering to go and fight there. So therefore they need the human resource. I'm not saying we should send them for war, but we should send them for the other sectors where we can actually get the demographic dividend. The CEO Niti Aayog mentioned this in his speech, that the while the others growth was driven by technology, India's growth will continue to be driven for the next 30-40 years by the demographic dividend. And so therefore we need to work on this demographic dividend and not have an Israeli kind of an experience where we send people and they were finally sent back. The other sector is the rare earths. uh, Russia has the fifth largest rare earths in the world, but their production is only 1%. There are two companies, Mahindra's and one Gujarat company. It's a government company, which are actually, they have started the processing of the rare earths, and I think they should be encouraged to actually look into this particular factor. And no better country than Russia to actually invest on. Unfortunately, our private players are not indulging in any kind of ventures as far as investments as far as Russia is concerned. Tata's was the first one to go, but they have also withdrawn lock, stock, barrel. They have left behind some TCS people to maintain their existing equipment, which is there. But that is something that we have to reverse that process. And this particular visit should be able to focus on that. It's for the benefit of India, so that the deficit between the two is reduced, and the figure of 100 billion, when it reaches, it should be, if not 50-50, at least 30-60, 30-70, or 40-60, or in that particular range. Pharma, there are problems. We are the superpower of pharma, but When you send them to Russia, there are issues of sanctions. They have to test these medicines there only in Russia. Labeling is a problem. Language is a problem. So many things are there. Agriculture is another area which we can, fabric and agriculture, where we can break the ceiling. But unfortunately, it is still not been able to break that barrier. But one should be happy that all these ministers have come to India along with the Putin's visit to negotiate on these things. I think this having said, if we focus on these issues, the India-Russia relationship is going to become even more stronger. Of course, that beer hug will remain. No one knows today. In fact, there was a very eminent speaker who said, "Kaliyug khatam ho gaya hai. The Kaliyug is over. Now it is Kaliyug Part 2, which is Rakshasi Yug." In the Rakshasi Yoga, everybody is tactical, everybody is tactical, everybody is going to look at his sovereign interest and work for that. So therefore, if we have this kind of a Chanakya Niti, I think we will be able to navigate well, and we now do have that kind of a heft as far as global affairs are concerned, that people will listen to you. You are no more a pushover. Thank you. I'll stop here.
Thank you so much, General Dushyant Singh. Getting together 1,400 panelists and managing these sessions is absolutely fantastic. We have a few pictures from that show. Can we have them, please?
Yes,
you can talk to these things, General Dushyant.
Yeah, this is the inaugural address of day 2, where this is the book launch of the clause, which was yearbook. These are the sessions, panel discussions. This was the book launch with the chief and the former chiefs have done. We also had the interaction with the veterans, serving people, etc. It was a very good cocktails of people there. This is the president, honorable president of India, being felicitated. Now, this memento which has been given is a unique idea which came out from one of the research scholars, a young girl, who I challenged her. I said, okay, give us some idea. So she gave this beautiful idea of 4 figurines: one a scientist, the other a soldier, the third person an agriculturist, and third person and a lady, Nari Shakti, and the fourth person a poor man. So I asked her, why a poor man? She said, sir, that's the reality. And if we have to reach the top, we have to reach the globe, then this poor man has to also come along with us. Otherwise, we will not achieve real growth. I think I straight away recommended her for a kind of an appreciation and also some cash award from the army headquarters, which she got it. She feels very proud of it. So this was something which is very momentous, and president was explained about this particular concept. So and she liked it. The defense minister also liked it. This is, of course, the welcome inaugural address of the Raksha Mantri. Yeah, there is something very interesting I must share as far as the inaugural address is concerned. It was day 2 and I was dead tired, but I had to give the welcome address. The chief decided that आप ही कर लीजिए, मैं नहीं करूंगा 2 दिन लगातार. So I did on the second day a welcome come, a little bit of a opening address remark. I quoted something which really got Rajnath Singh into a kind of a, he became so joyous that he gave a 2 thumbs up like this, for the talk which I for the talk which I gave. I thought he was trying to remember that this is a battlefield. I later on told them this is just a it is just a academic thing, but he got quite enthused by that particular thing, and then in the end he said it's very difficult to pronounce Sanskrit. So that was a brief anecdote as far as the Raksha Mantri's thing was concerned, because everybody was saying something in Sanskrit. We had recommended something for Raksha Mantri also in Sanskrit. So he quietly said it's very difficult to pronounce in Sanskrit. So he in Sanskrit, he spoke in English. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. All of us, I think, embody one thing: karmanye vadikarasye mahafale sukadachana. We are doing our duty. The result will be decided by God, and don't worry about it. Leave it to Him. Thank you so much, General Dushyant Singh. We know you've been very active because we've been following you on social media. But the excerpt you picked up from AI Engine is truly heartwarming, because this concept was thought of by General Ravi Shankar, and he said, "Don't worry, I'll get the people. Let's just get going. We'll just pick one day of the week, and then we are just going to go ahead." And now we have two such events on Thursdays
Yes, I know.
and Mondays, spaced 3 days
Yeah.
apart, and
Yeah.
one open invitation to all. General Shankar is usually there unless he's traveling. I'm happy to host this, and we'll keep this thing going, because we are just at the beginning of a huge reset in the global order that's coming down the pipeline. Thank you once again, generals, from the bottom of my heart. Let's take some questions now. We are already about 50 minutes into the program. I was hoping to do a quick second round. Unless you would like to weigh in, we can go to questions. I'm sure all these things will come. Yeah.
I think the questions that will come in. Yeah, Rajiv sir,
Yeah,
sorry.
the only thing I need to add to what General Dushyant said, that for our manpower to be able to make use of the opportunity, the hesitation is with language. And
Yes.
Like my daughter also studied in the Russian Cultural Center, and I used to go there and interact. 90% of the people were tour guides, or who are running the tourist companies,
Okay.
to be able to handle them.
Yeah.
Now, if you hesitate on the language, then you'll have a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. You have
Phobia for the West and the US is essentially because you're comfortable. It's English.
absolutely. But then we have to change gear. We have to change gears,
You
sir.
have to, because the future you will have to learn Russian, and you'll have to go there and start working also. They have a big demographic challenge, the negative to what we have, the positive.
Positive. Yes, absolutely true.
Thank you so much, sir. Let's go into question and answers now. First question coming up from Akash Sadani. This is for General Ravi Shankar. Bharat has shown strategic autonomy and independence of thought and action. In a manner of speaking, the Bharat-Russia partnership is multi-domain warfare at its elevated best. Your views?
I wouldn't say multi-domain warfare. It's got a multi-domain dimension. Right?
Yeah.
Over years, this has increased in its scope. If you have a look at it, see, once upon a time, go back to 71. What did we get from Russia then? We had political support. And then we had, of course, military support during 71. And we've always had a lot of support from Russia on many fronts. But that we had at that point of time from other countries also. Then you see, after USSR broke down, the equation with Russia went down, because as they went down, and we also were in a bad shape, to some extent there was a divergence of relationship between Russia and India. That has started coming back on track. I would say that has started coming back on track for the past 4 years, not before that. Even before that, if you look at it, around the time when Afghanistan withdrawal was taking place, from US was withdrawing from Afghanistan, the talks and all, Russia did keep India out of the equation, right? So there are issues, we have problems, but that's it. Like what one of us has said earlier, the Russian system and the Indian system today are very complementary to each other. What we don't have, they have. What they don't have, we have. Right? And it is hence there is hugely multidimensional. And we cover each other. Right? Again, when you look at the West, like what Rajiv spoke about, how West is dependent, this relationship will make the West dependent on this equation. Okay, and that is the crux we have to understand. On the other hand, this relationship makes China fear the relationship. Okay, China fears. I'm not joking. You must listen to what I've spoken. It will be there morning 6 o'clock. That video will be declassified. I was surprised at the thing. Many times we don't know the strength of our own equations. Okay, and what's coming ahead. And this is one such time where we have an opportunity to seal our rise. We use Russia for whatever it is worth, and they also use it's a mutual transact. It could be transactional also. I'm not too bothered about it. It's a long-winded thing, but I thought the question demanded that kind of reply. Back to you.
Thank you, sir. Next question for General Rajiv. Milbert Jarian wants to know if the US, China, and Russia enhance their economic, technology, and military dominance while Europe stays behind. What happens?
It's a hypothetical question because the Chinese economy is in deep decline. If you have any doubts, you can watch General Shankar's detailed analysis on their economy also. He'll show you from their own charts what they have. So to say that they are going to enhance their economy, it's wrong. Their military, General Shankar and I have spoken a number of times. Their military is nothing to be spoken of. Yes, they do work on technology. Technology by itself is not going to take you anywhere. As far as the US is concerned, they face a very big problem. They are facing an economic challenge. And they're not as caught in a corner like the Chinese. I'm sure in the next 3, 4, 5 years, they will be able to come out of it. But will they be able to have a dominance? I don't think so. Does the military have a dominance? Military has dominance when you do not hesitate to use it. US today hesitates to use it. They are scared of body bags. They hesitate to use it. In military, we have a term, jus et bellum, that is just cause for war. Can you sell it to your people, the war? I don't think so. Why do you think he's hesitating to go into Venezuela? What is the basis is going to tell the just cause for his troops to go and fight and die there for what he wants to do? How do you motivate? You can't. Then where is the military dominance? Just दिखावे से military dominance नहीं होता है. That डर is that when he applies, he'll apply it so hard that you will feel the hurt. So that is why I said it is hypothetical. So that today, some people keep saying 2 superpowers. I say there are 2 big powers. The days of superpower is long gone. Nobody is a superpower today. Yes, US is a big power. China was a big power. It's declining very fast economically also. So you will have these blocks who are important in their own regions and who will have the strength in their own regions. That is how it is going to be. And Europe, like I had mentioned, realizes that he cannot survive without India, but he wants to poach that market before the deal is done. And why am I saying they will be more aggressive? Because the deal is supposed to be signed in January. And Marta kya na karta. So this is a hypothetical view that US, China will dominate. Russia, what economies does Russia have? Other than selling resources, does he have any economic heft? No. He sells energy, he sells minerals. Full stop. And there are some buyers for his defense technology. That's all. So to expect that they will have economic, technology, and military dominance, that's wishful thinking. So I leave it at that.
Next question. This is for General Dushyant. Shrit Kothari wants to know, sirs, I've always heard Russia is a friend and it's mostly true, but in geopolitics, self-interest reigns supreme. Could you please educate us about things they have done where we got shorter end of the stick? I know one, but you go ahead, General Dushyant.
Well, as far as any country is concerned, the sovereign interest always reigns supreme. That is the first case. That is a given. So you should not get unnecessarily worried if somebody is taking a position for its country. I think that's normal. That's as far as the concept goes. Now, as far as issues which are where we have been, I won't say at the shorter end of the stick, but I would say where either they have adopted a neutral approach or where they have not been so forthcoming in physical support. Galwan is one incident where they maintained some kind of a some kind of a relationship where they were actually projecting that we should work for peace, talk it out and negotiate, etc., etc. Similarly, there have been other incidents as well. So I would say that uh, overall you have to look at the relationship. In the overall perspective, if the relationship is being strong and stood the test of time, we should read it from that point of view and not go into an odd incident here and there. It is also dependent on the leader who's there, right? That is also one of the important points, who's ruling that particular country at a particular point in time. So 62 could be one example where the Americans bished us. So that didn't mean that we did not develop a relationship with them. We have had a very good relationship for the last 20-25 years. It's only that because of some incident, and I would put General Rajiv as the catalyst of that, where where Trump did what he did, and then the whole thing started getting out of control. So these things happen. I think. Short answer is we should not get too worried about it.
Sir ji, आपने मेरी मुंह की बात छीन ली. I was going to say about Galwan, where something happened that
Yeah.
was not very
Yeah,
desirable
yeah.
about this very
Yeah.
strong friendship between India and Russia. Viewers, if you want to know more about it, go to pgurus.com, search on GALWAN, and you'll get all about it. Let's go to the next question, please. General Ravi Shankar, this is for you, sir. I'm not even going to try and read the ID. Please explain MI6 service role, Russia and India relation, geopolitics in the world.
Yeah,
That's what we've been doing all this while. MI6 and all, yaar, ye to relics hai. They're only nuisance value. So don't worry. I mean, I don't think, if you have to ask me this question, either this is a premeditated question or you're not listening to what we have said.
Yes,
One of the
yes.
two.
No,
Yeah. So,
the sequencing happened. They put the question in even as the conversations are going on. So sometimes
yeah.
it looks like it's already covered.
Look, look, let me tell you this to whole lot of you listening. Today you got three different viewpoints from three different sources. I would say on this growth, yeah, wo. But the focus is the same. We all converged onto the same point from different angles. That is the beauty of today's program. Yeah.
Next question, please. General Rajiv Narayanan, this is for you, sir. It's actually addressed to you. What would be the position of Israel with respect to Indian and Russian bloc?
What we have not said till now, so now that you asked the question, I'll add it. In all the discussions that is going on, I call it Trinetra. There were 5 eyes, you have 3 eyes. India, Russia, and surprise, surprise, Israel. So there is a lot of wind sharing which goes on and which is being used by the unknown gunmen all over. So, and it spreads from West Asia to ASEAN. And so it is a big competitor to the Five Eyes, which itself is having fissures today. Five Eyes, as you all know, are the 5 Anglo-Saxon countries, UK, Canada, US, Australia, New Zealand. A lot of friction. Essentially, Canada and Australia feel left out. There's a lot of friction there. This is very strong. So that is the position of Israel. So they are very happy. If you're going with Russia, they are quite happy. They're not worried about it.
General Rajiv, you brought back memories of Shivashtakam. If you have one leaf of Vilva tree,
Yes.
this is how the line goes. Trigunam Trigunakaram Trinetrancha Triyayudham Trijanma Papa Samharam Eka Vilvam Sivarpanam. Just one Vilva leaf will give you this much power. I leave it at that. Thank you so much, sir. Next question, please. Bangalore Subramaniam Srinivas, it just got cut off. 3 good generals, very interesting discussion. Why is the West rattled whenever Putin and Modi meet in India or Moscow? The Western powers are firing on Russia from the last Ukraine soldier. General Dushan.
Well, it's always a short answer. Neighbors envy, owners pride. I mean, if I have to just put it, a very old tagline. So if they can't digest, the fact that we have been maintaining such a good relationship over a long period of time, which has been actually, even against even when it was India China issues in the past, Russians have been standing with us. So it's purely based on the fact that why haven't they been able to disrupt this particular relationship? Why? I mean, it's on the lines of what General Rajiv said. How have they not been able to upthrow or throw out the current regime? So they are desperate. They are desperate. That's
I
all.
just add to give you the antiquity of this relationship.
Yeah.
Whatever is laid out, I'm sure it would be true for other states also in MP. MP was formed in 54. All this power grid and electrical lines have been laid out in North and Central MP by my
Yeah.
dad.
Yep.
He planned it and laid it out. Who helped? Bulk, every place were Russians, Soviets, Russians.
Yeah.
And
No
the
doubt.
only other country and some places where they had come in instrumentation and other things was Germany.
Yeah.
My dad had an English to German and an English to Russian dictionary, this thick book.
Absolutely.
And when he got to know that I got Russian in NDA, he gave me that book. I still have
Manjal,
that. Thick.
absolutely. I'm telling
Still,
you, a
that's how
tank
long
man,
this relationship has stood the test of
yeah,
time.
a tank man, a airman, a sailor. Every second chap was in Russia.
Yes,
I mean, you
yes.
yourself might have been as a in service, gone for conversions, whether it was including
Yeah, my
artillery.
unit officers had gone to Russia for
Uh,
conversion
uh,
for
we
T-72.
so we were very deeply entrenched, and we continue
Yes,
to remain
yes,
so.
yes, yes. And it has carried on after they broke off with the Russians. Yes, there
Yes.
have been hiccups in between, like General Shankar said, and then it has come back on track.
Next question, please. This is for General Shankar. Are Russian assets deployed on Bharat shores ports like Harami Nala?
No, 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 no. Russia cannot spare assets in Haraminalaya. They've got enough. They need enough in Ukraine.
हरामी नाला में तो आर्मी का भी नहीं है, बीएसएफ का लगा हुआ है।
वो यार हरामी नाला क्या है? वो छोटा सा नाला है बस.
ऐसा
That's
है
about all.
सर क्रीक पे।
You don't need all that.
बीएसएफ
India,
floating
look,
border.
don't underestimate our own assets. Okay, we have enough strength to deploy what we want, where we want, and some abroad also.
Next one, please. Thank you so much, KVR2676, gifted 5 gunner shot membership. General
thank you.
Ravishankar, this is for you, sir. Next question, please. PSA clerk for justice, truth, peace. Thank you so much, General Rajiv. Super sticker. Oh, this is just a super sticker. Thank you so much. Next one,
Thanks
please.
a lot.
This is for you, General Rajiv. Anirban Ghosh wants to know: do you think there is any high-tech company, technology, IP, etc., still remaining in Ukraine? India should grab the opportunity by acquiring them. No limit partnership. India, Russia. India's response.
Who
Sir.
do you think is providing all their capability and capacity to build millions of drones? How are they making it? Have you thought about that? Just think. And they're able to create everything homegrown which can reach deep. Yes, they might use communication by somebody else, but the platform is being made by them. And it's being made in garages. That is number one. Number two, General Dushyant had mentioned, Motor Sich. Motor Sich is located where? In
Ukraine.
Zaporozhye. That's there in Zaporozhye. And Mi-17, you are supplying, you are the biggest supplier of oil to them, refined oil to Ukraine. You can request them and they'll give it to you. Why will they not give it to you? This is a very different kind of war. कि तुम मेरे साथ हो कि उसके साथ हो. Russia is providing you the crude. Russia is not angry that you are the biggest supplier for oil for Ukraine, right? So why will Russia be angry that if I'm taking something from Ukraine for sustaining my old Russian or Soviet equipment? I'm sure they will not be here.
Yeah, I wanted
question,
to
please.
add something.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
wanted to add something just to add to what he said. After about 3 days, I'm conducting a seminar of a company called IFOMAS. Now, IFOMAS has already established an office 2 years back in Ukraine, not proper Ukraine, along the border in Poland. Why? They want to go inside and clear all their it's an engineering company. They would be clearing the areas of ammunitions and munitions which have been unexploded, or mines, etc. So people are already grabbing the opportunities. They are going way ahead of us, even while we are still thinking about it. And it is this company is owned by a Indian Army colonel, and he's doing a great job.
Next one, please. This is for General Ravi Shankar. Will Russia and India be able to withstand pressure from various countries and arrive at various agreements, including high-tech arms and nuclear cooperation?
Yeah, we got a history of this. We got a history of multi-domain cooperation. Look at USSR. Apart from what all was spoken, our steel plants were set up. Bhilai, Rourkela, all these people were all set up by the
Yeah,
Russians.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
Okay, you have some lot of. Look at your nuclear plants, Kudankulam, which is ongoing today, Russian. So you have the depth of the relationship is huge.
yeah,
Space relationship is not new. You go back in time. The
Yeah.
depth of the relationship is huge. Okay, you see, I look at it the other way around. The Western powers and China are helping making this relationship stronger. Okay,
Next
we
question,
have
please.
nothing to fear.
Sorry, sir, I thought you were done. Ashish
No, no,
Hegde
no.
wants to know. Ashish Hegde wants to know, sirs, can we say this meeting is about defense, trade, and oil? And in that order, General Rajiv.
no, much more. There's space. Like I said, there
Absolutely.
is on monetary also the linking. There is human resource also. So there's plenty going on. These are you're talking about these because this is what is the chatter in the media. This is the chatter in the media. It goes much more. I gave you 6 pillars. So it
Next
goes
one,
much, much,
please.
much deeper.
Yeah, my two
Thank you, sir. Next question.
my two slides covered so many issues,
So many
beyond
points.
Right.
Yeah.
beyond those.
Much, much, much more.
If you're listening
No
to that,
wonder General Shankar is calling it a multi-domain relationship. Understand that.
absolutely, absolutely.
Next question, thought provocateur. Thank you so much. This is for you, General Dushyant. How will India cultivate bond with post-Putin or Russia? How does one individual make a difference?
It'll be like the past.
Yeah.
Like I
There have
said,
been changes of presidents, so it doesn't matter. The relation goes beyond personalities as far as India and Russia go. Don't worry on that count.
This is for you, General Ravi Shankar. Kajan Lakhan wants to know, will NATO ask an African country to join it?
Out of
Ah.
question.
never.
The geographical formation. That brings us to a close of today's program. Viewers, I don't know how much you remembered. 18 to 24 months ago, I had said that if you want to learn Russian, you need to learn about 6 months of Sanskrit. And then from Sanskrit, you can easily navigate over to Russian. And if you had, even if 10 of you had listened to me and started doing this, even in your spare time, you would be landing some really plush assignments very soon. 100,000 people required, but I'm sure Russian knowledge of Russian will play a huge part in all these things, because you have to talk to people. You have to, even if your code is in English, you have to talk to
May
people.
I add
Yes,
something
sir.
to
Yes, sir.
underline what you said? Russian is the
Yes.
only language which is closest to Sanskrit.
Yes.
Which is closest to Sanskrit. Sanskrit is the best language because it is not the meaning in the sentence is not location sensitive about where the word is placed in the sentence. You can place it anywhere because you conjugate and declamate the words also as per the meaning. And I'll
Let's
give you
give an example, sir.
One example, closest, inflammable, highly inflammable. Guess what is it known in Russian? Agniopasna. Agniopasna. You pour ghee to make it more inflammable. Highly inflammable in Russian is Agniopasna. Mother is Mats. Mata, Mats. Bhrata, Brat is the brother. That close. Sanskrit
Actually,
and grammar is
to be
almost similar.
To be fair, the Indo-European group of languages have a number of these common words, brother, brat. So you will find that this kind of a commonality would be there. Because the origin.
After, yeah, to substantiate what you say, after Russian comes German.
Yeah.
German, third in the line, a proximity from Sanskrit, Russian, and then comes German. After that, all the other languages follow.
Thank you so much, sir. What an enriching session it was today. And as always, my heartfelt thanks to all of you, generals. And you all put in a lot of effort putting together and making sure that it's a very constructive discussion. I think we have covered a lot of topics today. And all I can request all of our viewers is to please share this thing among all your groups, WhatsApp groups, social media, other groups, and so on, because we have learned a lot of things, a lot of opportunities coming your way too. Some of you may find yourself out of a job, but there are many other opportunities waiting to be discovered. Thank you once again, generals. Namaskar.
Thank you. Namaskar. Namaskar.